Good morning. This is Diane Peters from JCHarvestInvestments.com. Oh my goodness, it's so funny. I hope you're doing today. It's a beautiful day in the Northeast, Fairfield County. We have a lot of sun. I'm happy about that. Also, I'm always happier on my gym days. I just feel so invigorated once I go to that gym. It's like everything they say about exercising is true. And I'm not going to tell you, you got to do what you, but I'll tell you, if I don't work out, I really have a miserable day. I feel like, I can't explain to you. I feel like I'm in the dark. And the minute I work out, I just feel so alive. So, I'm alive today. Hope all's going well with you. Today I want to talk about my 42 years in business. And in 42 years, imagine how many bosses I had. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I can count on one hand my good bosses. Now, I just want to go through very quickly some of the bosses in my life who made a big impression upon me. One of them was Linda Smith Day. I'll never forget it. I was a data entry operator, and that was way back in the days when networking was considered crawling around the ground and connecting to computers. We had a computer room. It was just one room where all the computers were. And Linda Smith Day was this woman who was in charge of the computer department, for lack of a better word, the technology, whatever. She never smiled. She never really was a person who seemed like she had a personality. But the one thing I can relate to about Linda, she recognized that I could do more than just be a computer operator and a data entry operator. She recognized there were some things in me that would lend itself to be promoted. So she promoted me. I became an assistant supervisor after doing that job, which I'd never done before, data entry. And then she promoted me to a computer operator. And then she promoted me to a junior programmer. And in the meantime, I was helping out one of my, Bruce's last name is misplacing me, but Bruce is another good boss that I had because he became manager over the department where all the computers were. And let me tell you, those were funny days. We had this one gentleman, his name was Parker or whatever, and he was the guru of computers and of all the business managers that we had. And one time I literally had to break up a fight between them, him and another gentleman, because Parker was staying too long on the computer. Now, mind you, these are the back in the Stone Age, where computers were just in one big room. Everyone didn't have one on the desk. But the one thing I loved about Linda as my boss is we didn't have she wasn't like that person who was small talking you. She meant business. She was so intelligent, and she had such insight, and she never really communicated a lot. But I really related to Linda because, again, she saw in me something I didn't realize in myself. We never had a whole lot of conversation. She never had to direct me, do this, Diane. She'd mention one line to me, and I got it. And that was the same way I worked with Bruce McWilliams. God rest his soul. He's passed away. We worked together too, very well. And he was my other boss in that realm. And we were a very, I guess, if anybody looked at us from the outside, they wouldn't have understood us. In fact, one of my other women that was my boss in that department had said to me, "You, Bruce, and Linda have a strange relationship. I never see you three communicate with one another, but you all three seem to be on the same wavelength. And no matter what needed to get done, it would get done. Linda didn't have to scold me. Bruce didn't have to scold me. We'd get together. We'd meet maybe 5 or 10 minutes in the hallway. Bruce would say this needed to be done. Linda say this. And mind you, these are technical minds. They're programmers. They're network people. They were really a high-tech mentality. Believe me, I was not there. But we had a one wavelength when it came to communicating. They didn't have to reprimand me. I did, whenever they asked me to do something, I did it. I mean, I have to say, starting out in my career in a corporate environment, I did have another boss too that was very good, and that was when I was in the telex department. But with the three of us working together, I have to say that was the smoothest relationship I've ever had. We didn't have any conflict. If something went wrong, we didn't think about blaming each other. We thought about fixing it. You know, if we, like I said, when I was supervising that networking or computer room, and I told Linda, I said, well, Parker so-and-so had a big argument, and they were just going to blows, and actually Bruce had to come in and break them up. We didn't laugh about it. We didn't talk about anybody. We just thought about, okay, this is a solution we need to do to create this so it doesn't happen. And so, of course, we started a sign-in sheet, and everybody had to stay on schedule, and it was my job to go. I mean, we worked so cohesively. So if I could say anything, and I guess that was one thing that made me realize that maybe I wouldn't be a good boss, because I really didn't have to think about what I was doing with those two individuals. The three of us together, it seemed like Linda was our boss. She was the director of the department. Bruce was the manager. I was, like they eventually gave me the title assistant manager in that department. And I guess I can't tell you how smooth it ran. And the more I'm thinking about it, I just think that we were on the same wavelength. We just wanted to get the project done. Make sure the networking department was running smoothly. And Linda had the real big responsibility because she had to meet with senior management. So she took care of the big picture. Bruce, he took care of the technology, making sure everything. And then I just managed the room. And all I can say is, if you're a boss out there, try and have an environment where your employees feel like all you're trying to do is resolve the conflicts. Not look at fault or blame, because honestly, I can tell you, there were things that were happening, and they would have riled up anybody. Linda didn't get upset. Bruce didn't get upset. So, of course, that caused me not to be upset. I just said, okay, what do we need to do to fix this? And they give me the direction. It was a smooth machine, and I look forward to going to work. Because I was a person who always wanted to be promoted, the next thing I know, Bruce and I were being considered for another role in a whole different department. It was very hard for me to leave Linda. But Bruce and I, we really worked well together. So when he got promoted, he wanted to take me with him. And I'm going to have to tell you, to this day, I'm very sad that I went, but I'm glad I did, because it did put me on the road to where I needed to be as far as career-wise. But that was the best time in my life, working with two people who, like I said, one was a director, the other one was a manager, and we had mutual respect for one another. We always looked forward to getting the job done. If there was a problem, we just looked at resolving it. We respected each other. I totally respected them because I know technically they had a lot more knowledge than I did. And I just love the fact that they almost made me feel like an equal, and I know I wasn't. So I guess I knew I could never be that type of boss, because whenever I had the opportunity to become a boss, I said, listen, I always judge it according to the relationship Bruce and Linda and I all had with one another. So if I can say anything to all the bosses out there, think more about your employees than you do about yourself. That's what helped me. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine in the Northeast. I know my brother Terry is on the golf course in Florida having a good time. Hey, Terry. God bless you all. Thanks for listening. Diane from jcharvestinvestments.com.